Before I start, I'd like to mention that as of writing this video, only 6 episodes of Steven Universe Future have come out, so it's entirely possible that literally everything I say in this video will be null and void in just a few weeks, but you know what? Fuck the future.
I smell comedy. Well, it was comedy giving off that scent.
Steven Universe started out pretty good. The first few seasons were strong, and although it had its faults, the general consensus was that its strengths outweighed its weaknesses. Unfortunately, as the show went on, a lot of its elements sort of burned out or didn't really live up to their potential. To me, it felt like the creators had a lot of great ideas at the beginning of the show, but as it went on, they had to come up with new concepts and ideas to keep that momentum. However, they either didn't have enough time or weren't good enough writers to keep that story going at the same level of quality. And by the end of season 5, the show had clearly taken a downward spiral, and a lot of people, including myself, had lost faith in the writers of the show completely. However, after the final arc of season 5, Diamond Days, a glimmer of hope was given to us in the form of the Steven Universe movie, which most agreed was better than what the show had become. Personally, I didn't feel as strongly towards this movie, and I feel like Spinell was over-centralizing the conversation about the film. The movie was overall decent in my opinion, but I observed a lot of the same writing issues that had become commonplace in the show. This was the tipping point for me, the point where I decided that Steven Universe was no longer a show that I could unironically enjoy. But then...
You are not my diamond! Steven Universe Future.
The Steven Universe Future trailer dropped, and unsurprisingly, everyone got hype as fuck. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't excited to see the new episodes, but that wasn't because I was expecting the show to be good. Like I said, at this point, I had stopped believing that this show would be something I would unironically enjoy. I was more so interested to see if the show would meet my expectations or surprise me. Steven Universe Future did come after all the backlash caused by the abysmal ending to season 5, so maybe the creators listened to their audience and made some changes to the show's production. And surprise, surprise, that's exactly what didn't happen. The writing is still dog shit, the visuals are okay despite how simple the character designs are, nothing interesting happens, and Steven bombs are still a thing. And truthfully, this makes me very, very happy. Allow me to explain. Once I decide that I don't like a show anymore, I begin to enjoy it ironically. I begin to make fun of it, for lack of a better term, because how else am I supposed to derive enjoyment from it? I know I could just stop watching, but at this point, I feel like I'm too deep into the community surrounding Steven Universe. I may not be interested in the characters anymore, but it's still entertaining to participate in the conversation surrounding this show. It's still fun to bitch and complain about all the stupid shit that happens as the episodes keep coming, and in keeping with that spirit, the remainder of this video will be dedicated to me listing the numerous specific problems I had with what I've seen so far. So who's ready to piss off some Steven Universe fans? Let's do this. So much of the dialogue in the first few episodes is mind-numbingly boring. It consists of nothing but Steven and whoever the fuck just talking about the situation everyone is in and basically just completely transparently setting up the plot. This is not only about as subtle as a frying pan to the face, but it also reeks of uncreativity. Just show us the situation instead of having the characters talk about it. Steven is overpowered as shit. He was always basically Jesus, but at least in earlier seasons that was because of circumstances and plot armor. Now Steven is literally just invincible, and he even knows it. He only seems minorly annoyed at the prospect of fighting Jasper, and that was before he unlocked his pink Super Saiyan mode. Speaking of this new power, it sucks ass. Like I said, it makes Steven even more overpowered than he was before, but specifically it grants him flight, super strength, and seemingly complete invincibility. As a result, none of Steven's altercations are exciting at all, because I expect him to easily solve the problem at hand. This is made even worse by the fact that his new powers go completely unexplained. The pink Saiyan mode seems to only happen when Steven's under emotional stress, but it also seemingly activates when he's just kinda uncomfortable. I don't know what the scene with him turning pink in front of Rose's other pearl was supposed to imply, but all it accomplished was confusing me and throwing a wrench into this new ability. Smoky Quartz has the same thing happen to them in episode 2. They need to run really fast to save a roller coaster full of people who are about to fly to their death, and they just summon the ability to slow down time for everyone but them. Again, this comes with no build-up at all, and it doesn't even connect with Smokey's personality or fighting style. Tonal whiplash. Because of the issues I've already described, Steven Universe Future jerks around so much in each episode that it would be honestly hard to follow what's happening if the show didn't make it painfully obvious through the dialogue. I think that the short episode lengths are really a part of this problem. Each episode feels like it's rushing to get through its story, and it does not feel natural at all. Steven is incredibly inconsistent with his characterization. One moment he's a normal teenager who seems to be of at least average intelligence, and the next he somehow can't understand that he's positively reinforcing Onion's bad behavior by being nice to him as Rainbow. One moment he's laying out all the perfectly logical points to why Jasper should come join him in Homeworld Land or whatever it's called, and the next he's agreeing to fight her. One moment he's completely emotionally stable, and the next he's losing his shit over finding out Pink had anger issues. This one specifically is really dumb because giving Steven outbursts of anger would have clearly led up to this moment naturally, and it would have been the easiest thing in the world to do. Steven had plenty to be mad about, but it was this moment that they decided should be the straw that broke the camel's back. Again, tonal whiplash. I think this is partially due to the fact that every episode is still latched to Steven at all times, which means that more situations will arise that necessitate the presence of a character trait which Steven does not have. The visuals are still a little underwhelming. At least everything is pretty consistent now, but the fight choreography and fluidity of the action scenes are definitely not what they could be considering how simple the character designs are. Episode 3 is pretty good. The subject matter makes sense, the tone isn't all over the place, and the narrative through line is pretty consistent. Other than that, and a few specific jokes, I don't think I could point out anything in Steven Universe Future which I liked. Though I do feel a certain sense of pride over recognizing the flaws in this show earlier than most and going on record saying that I thought this show was going to have exactly the problems that it turned out having. I am just a little sad that this show didn't surprise me and return to its former glory. I'll continue watching this show, and if anything interesting happens, I'll be sure to make a video about it, but forgive me for saying that I doubt that that will happen anytime soon. If you made it this far into the video, you probably don't hate me, so why not stick around? If you like hearing me talk about cartoons, you should watch my 2-hour analysis of Voltron Legendary Defender, and if you like hearing me talk about anything, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed and hit the bell to get notified whenever I upload in the future.
Comedy.
I have a lot of plans for the future, and I'm trying to grow this channel, so any kind of support is hugely appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.